Hello guys, welcome to my channel. This is Gail. If this is the first time you are visiting this channel, you are warmly welcome. This is actually a very new channel, and this is like my apart from the introductory video, this is sort of like my first video. And I just love to share my experiences with people, you know, like stuff that I've been through, and in situations where I needed some sort of information that I didn't get. And then I think that it's great to be able to share with other people. I am actually in UK right now, and I am a ukrn, so I'm a registered nurse here. So most of my content is going to be about immigration and about working as a nurse, and you know, just being new to the UK and stuff that you need to do and how to cope and everything, and yeah, basic information about that. So it's not just for nurses. I think my content is going to be beneficial to a lot of other people, but mostly new people to the UK and everyone who might as well need any kind of information. Yeah, this page right here is for you. So just watch to the end and like the video if you're interested, and subscribe just to make it go around more. So today I'm going to be talking about some of the stuff that you need to do when you come to the UK newly, just to make your stay here very smooth. Right, so we're just gonna get on with it. First things first, you need to have a roof over your head. You need to have accommodation. You need to have a place to rest. And this part of the list of the criteria has to be planned even before you get to the UK. If you are in the UK already and you don't have a place to sleep, that is a very frustrating situation. So getting a room and having a room and everything, you need to sort that out when you haven't even gotten here first. If you need to contact a friend, if you're going to stay with a family, you need to do that before you even get it on the plane to get here. And if you're coming here as a nurse, most of the hospitals, the trusts, are required to provide accommodation for you for a while until you get up on your feet. So most of the contracts are going to tell you they're going to give you a month or so, sometimes more, just until you get on your feet, because I don't think you're gonna have so much money to come from your home country just to come here and spend on rents and bills and stuff like that, and it runs in the hundreds of pounds. So you need to sort out your accommodation before you get here. Right, so you've gotten your accommodation. What is the next thing you need to do? So the next thing we need to think about is just to be warm, because most of the time when you're coming from a country with a different temperature, might be colder, might be warmer, depending on the weather in which you get into the UK, you might want to pack warm stuff. And of course this part also has to be sorted out before you even get here. But if you're already in the UK without warm stuff, that is fine. Some trusts are generous enough to give you duvets to begin with, and if not, they will give you pointers as to where to get them to buy. So you might be able to get some warm stuff, maybe jackets and things. But most of the time people just come from their home countries with these things, blankets and sheets and jackets, warm jackets and clothes and stuff, and you have to have them handy, or else your stay is going to be really frustrating. It's very cold here, and the cold is no joke. Like, it's very cold, in the negatives of degrees, you know. That's how low the temperatures run. So you need to get your warmth sorted. Now you've got a duvet, you've got everything. The next thing you need to think about is food. Obviously, you have to stay alive, you have to eat. And once again, I mean, when I got here, it was during that time where we had to isolate for a while, do a PCR test, and then when it came back negative, you could go out of your accommodation, go into the town or wherever you wanted to go. But now that restriction isn't there anymore. So most trusts are not going to, like when we were here, they used to give us meals. They used to give us like not prepared meals, like raw materials to cook with, So they gave us rice, oil, vegetables, meat, and we had them stocked in our fridges, and we could cook whatever we wanted to cook for that week until we were allowed to go out to get some food to buy. So if your trust is not sorting you out with those things, they'll give you pointers as to where to get them to buy, which brings us to the point where you need to get some money, because if you don't have any cash on you, then how are you going to buy anything? How are you going to get food to buy? How are you going to get warm clothes to buy? How are you going to sort yourself out in the first few weeks that you get to this country? So you need to get at least a few pounds on you. If not, you might be able to borrow from friends or family that you've got around, but you need some cash on you just to be able to feel comfortable with a few things that you want to purchase. So right, your food has been sorted. The next thing that you need to worry about is your data and your airtime, talk time and data. I mean, most of the houses have got Wi-Fi, so sometimes it's not a problem. If your accommodation has got Wi-Fi, you don't really worry about data until you step out of your accommodation, and then you realize that you don't have access to data. And if you haven't got a SIM card, then you cannot even use your WhatsApp, because most people rely on WhatsApp. WhatsApp is awesome, but if you haven't got data, and then if you haven't got a UK number, how do you do that when you haven't got Wi-Fi? So you need to buy a SIM card. You need to get a UK SIM card, and we've got lots of providers, big companies around, and you can just ask whichever one. EE, O2, lots of them. I mean, there are numerous providers that you can choose, and then you can just review their packages. And the good thing is they don't really cost much. So with as little as £5, £10, £15, you can get enough data, enough talk time to last you for a month or so, until you've gotten maybe a lot of cash on your hand, and then you want to go for a bigger package. So you need to get a SIM card, and then you need to load data on it and airtime. And then when you have a UK number, you can call other UK numbers. You can use data outside of your Wi-Fi zone, and then you're going to be sorted. And yeah, that's about data and airtime. I think the next thing that you need to consider is to build friendships and acquaintances. And the good thing is, most of the hospitals and most of the trusts, they recruit in batches and in groups. So usually you're going to come with another person. And if you're like the only person in the country from your family or amongst your group of friends, it can be challenging, but people are usually very nice to you, especially the people that bring you here, or the work or the job or the company. They will be able to give you pointers and people that you can just be in contact with. Or better still, if not, you can still contact your families back home through video calls and everything, just to keep you sane. And the good thing about the nurses is, when they recruit in batches, you can sort of like communicate with them. You have people that you can hang out with, you have people that you have sort of a bond with, which is really necessary. I remember when I got here initially, about a week or two after I arrived, I was just taking a stroll, and then I just started crying. I was so down, and I don't know if I should call it depression, maybe, but I felt so sad, and I wanted to like go home, get a glimpse of the community that I had back home, because it was so different. I felt so cold and distanced. But yeah, I mean, I'm here and I have to get used to the system, but I need the people. And even with that, I had my group of friends. So imagine how it would have been if I didn't have anybody to speak to or to be friends with. Or that would have been very difficult and challenging for me. And the next thing I want to talk about is that you need to prepare yourself to study hard. Most of the hospitals are not going to bring you here just for a vacation. You're here to work, and osce should be. Osce is the only one that will be in the way of your working. So they want to, as much as possible, get you to write your osce, and then you can get to working as soon as possible. So most of the hospitals are going to be communicating with you with regards to what you need to be doing. and then when the classes are going to start, some trust for some reason they are not disciplined enough to take their staff through the osce training on time. Most hospitals are going to start you in the osce immediately anyways. So usually people ask me if it's okay to use a phone or a laptop. Honestly, during my osce lessons, I realized that it was much easier to go through it with a laptop, because some of the content, it was difficult to navigate on a phone. But of course you can use a phone. But I mean, if you have people around you that have got laptops, you can just purge them and then just learn with them, and then you will be fine. And it all boils down to having acquaintances and friendships, as I mentioned before. So that's about it with the osce. And I know a lot of people tend to make videos on YouTube and everything, but I realized that there's a lot of discrepancies. There's a lot of difference between what your tutors or your instructors are going to teach you and then what you see on YouTube, because every trust is probably examined by a different university. The universities award the osce marks and the osce certifications. So each university has their own criteria, although I mean it's in line with the NMC requirements, but they all have their specific acceptances, and the hospitals communicate with the universities. So if the hospitals have taught you this, they let the university know that this is how we taught our people to, maybe with the process of given an IM injection, you take this step before you take this next step, instead of the other way, although it doesn't really make any difference. But this is the steps that we have taught our people, so then the universities will be aware and they will not penalize you for going according to your instructor's advice. But if you just take all your information from YouTube, that is from different trusts, it's from different universities, and they probably have a different criteria, and you might be at risk of being marked down if you do that. I mean, it's good to source the information to understand. Sometimes watching YouTube videos helps you to understand what your instructors are teaching you makes sense, but just don't rely on that. Right, I think I've talked about quite a lot of things. I've spoken about room sorting, I've spoken about warm clothes, I've spoken about food, money, acquaintances, I've spoken about data and airtime and osce. And there are a lot of things that you need still. You need a bank account, you need to register with the GP, you need to have a professional registration, you need to be able to prepare to move out of the accommodation, and so many more. But I just want to pause here, and then because it's getting lengthy already, and then I'll just make a part 2 of this video where I speak about all the other things that I think you need when you get here as a new ukrn. So hopefully part 2 is going to come out soon, and then we will get on with it. Thank you for staying with me through this video. It's been awesome having you, and I just hope to see you in the part 2 of this video. Hopefully it's going to be awesome and great. Thank you so much for watching. It's been a great pleasure to give you this information. If you like the video, kindly give it a thumbs up, give me a comment if you have it, and subscribe, and yeah, like it as I mentioned before. And looking forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you. Bye bye.